Welcome, ladies and gents, and with the latest judgment and intrigue into the Papaya rules, are McLaren starting to look like Papaya Fools after winning back-to-back championships this weekend just gone in Singapore? That question seems a little foolish, but with two great drivers looking at each other, both vying for that title, and McLaren trying to make fairness and sanitize the racing between the pair of them, could the team implode? Could the two drivers and this whole relationship implode and hand Max Verstappen the championship title? Imagine having your fiercest rival just meters away in the garage next to you, vying for the same dreams in the same car for the same glory, and that is the reality for Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri. They are now just 6 races away, and one of the two more likely are to be crowned world champion. And us fans, we're just hoping to witness one of F1's legendary battles between two teammates, as we saw play out throughout 2016 between Prost and Senna. Another episode of glory beckons between us, but is the silent war brewing in the background of McLaren? Could this reshape the team's future? Let's take a look. Let's take a look at the awkward dynamic of the two young drivers in battle for their first world championship, and the team hell-bent on trying to create a fair, rosy inter-team battle and sanitize the racing for what they appear to see as a fair battle between their two drivers, to keep harmony within the team, and effectively just to stop them imploding and handing the title to a rival. Max Verstappen will be licking his lips if that can occur. But in the latest edition of the Papaya rules, I think Oscar fans and Oscar himself will feel the rules were applied very much in the favour of just one man, Lando Norris, and weren't given a fair judgment on the call for Lando Norris breaking rule number 1, the main rule within this whole Papaya set of rules of don't hit your teammate. I mean, that's just not a rule, a Papaya rule or whatever we've called it. Every team has that rule. It's a no-go. You just don't take your teammate out. You don't hit them. You don't make contact. It's fair, clean racing to the very end. And, well, Lando Norris broke that in turn 1. Gave a bump to Oscar Piastri, which meant he got that position off him. Oscar, rightly so, with the way you look at the Papaya rules being set, felt that the team should have made the order to Lando Norris to give that position back. The team did not do that. I agree with that decision, but when you can't just take that one racing incident in a vacuum, you've got to look at how the rules have been applied overall as a whole pretty much through this season. And you don't have to look far when we've got Italy with the slow pit stop for Lando Norris, meaning Oscar Piastri got past. The team saying, oh, that wasn't fair, it was a slow pit stop from the team. That kind of doesn't count. Give that position back to Norris. Oscar obliged, somewhat reluctantly though, and rightly so. That call should never have come through. We've seen in previous times where close battles and Oscar getting very close to touching Lando Norris. Didn't touch him at all though, but in Austria the Papaya rule and the battle called off. Oscar told under no uncertain terms, don't be doing that again, when he went for a dive into a corner to pass Norris. No contact was made on that occasion, but strictly the rule was applied. Oscar told to back off. I mean, Canada again, Lando Norris broke the rules, hit into his teammate this time for the second time this season. I mean, that was different in the fact that it actually cost Norris more than it cost Oscar Piastri. He was out of the race, but had it not, how would the rules and that battle engagement have applied? Now, we've seen a relaxation of that rule somewhat in Singapore, where the rule number 1 blatantly being broken by Lando Norris of hitting your teammate Oscar feeling the team should have stepped in. They've done so in lesser circumstances, in lesser scenarios, and forced him to give that position back over the really small things. I mean, the Italy one should never have happened. The battle on the dive in Austria should never have been. Don't be doing that again. Uncle Papaya on the radio quite clearly to Oscar saying don't do that again. I mean, that should have, there was no incident, there was nothing to call that off there for any reason whatsoever. We've seen them told to hold position in Australia when Oscar was catching Norris. Again in Japan, where we've seen Oscar had the pace to take the fight to Max Verstappen. But Papaya Rules sort of said, now we'll keep it as it goes. And Max Verstappen was effectively handed victory there in Japan. Helmut Marko even questioning Papaya Rules there and whether they've just kind of let Red Bull sneak and nick that victory there. And as you can see through the few scenarios that we've got up so far, it seems heavily favoriting Lando Norris, and so you can see why potentially with this latest and greatest Papaya Rules fiasco and intrigue. I mean, it seems quite obvious now that really the gloves must now come off. Papaya Rules, they just need to put them in the bin. I mean, the championship and the constructors championship, which was, you know, all about the team and them getting their glory, has been wrapped up. We've got 6 races to go, and we should really just let these stop the sanitization of the racing, let these 2 drivers have 6 great championship races, and let the fans see what they want to see. I mean, they're trying to paper coat this in many different ways, McLaren, to look like, you know, greater than thou persona that they're trying to play off, and that we are really letting our guys race, but clearly that doesn't seem to be the case. Oscar felt really hard done by. I would like to see how this plays out going into the next 6 races. Now the championship's tied up, and really, and I can't believe I'm going to say this, but McLaren kind of needs to take a page out of Ferrari's rule book, and that is just let your drivers engage. Go to battle. We've seen brilliant racing between Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz at their home race in Monza, no doubt, where one of them taken out, the PR disaster for a Ferrari would have been absolutely huge. They trusted their driver to drive cleanly and race cleanly, and boy did they put on a fantastic show for us fans as 2 guys just went to battle for that 2nd place on the podium. In front of a home crowd, and we kind of want McLaren to do the same to make this championship great again. I mean, I'm not quoting Donald Trump, but anyway, I can't believe I've gone there. But with 6 races to go, we really do need to just see the possibility of a great battle, a legendary battle, a championship that we've talked about, like 21, like between Prost and Senna, like between Schumacher, Hakkinen. We'd love for it to go down to the wire. Nothing to call between the 2, but right now, with the way McLaren are playing things, they really just need to stop this, and it'll probably help them with their PR in this whole disaster of them sort of looking like they are favouring Lando Norris, even so far as to get onto the radio and asking Norris what Oscar's pit strategy should be. We've seen this before. Even Mercedes did it when we had the battle with Norris and Hamilton. The lead driver gets the choice of going long or pitting early, or the first stop effectively between the 2. The driver gets the choice on that, but not what the other guy does. If the lead guy decides he wants to go long, the other guy can choose whether he wants to pit first or go long, whatever the preferred strategy for that race is, but not dictate what the other car should be doing. And we've seen that, and that was horrible to see between the 2 McLaren drivers this weekend. And it's not the first time that they've done it, and it seems only when Norris is in the lead and in that position that we do get this question asked. It's possible that we are just looking at these small scenarios. It's not quite worked out that Oscar's had that opportunity to come on, have that call yet, but will we see that when that happens? Very few doubt it. Had the roles been reversed in Singapore and it was Oscar that tapped Norris, would we have seen a call on the radio to Oscar to give him that position back? Many fans believe so, and so that is something that McLaren really need to just put a stamp on it, call it quits. Let's get 6 fantastic races and just call off this whole Papaya rules. Every driver down the grid knows you don't take out your teammate. Rule number 1, simple as that, and just let them race. And that's it, rant over. Let me know your thoughts on the whole Papaya rules fiasco. Are they favouring Lando, Norris? Are we looking at it as just isolated incidents and not taking a full fair view on things? But when you look back and the decisions that they've made, it kind of looks one way, doesn't it? Let's hope for Oscar's and Lando's sake that we don't have any more of this Papaya fiasco. Let me get some clean racing for the final 6 races of the season, but it's looking set to be a great championship if we can see that happen. 6 to go, 22 points in it. Let me know who you got to win the championship. Have it got Lando, Norris, or are you for Oscar Piastri? Let me know in the comments below. Thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, comment. As always, see you in the next one.